Hello and welcome back to Cars.co.za. I'm David Taylor and this is another episode of how to buy a car with Bosch. In today's episode, the Haval H6, a really common sight on South African roads. Remember, Cars.co.za is not just a YouTube channel, it's also a place to buy and sell vehicles. Right now we have over 1,500 Havals for sale. That's a lot. That's how far they've come along. And if you want to service your car, Bosch, dotted around the country, 120 branches. Okay, let's go. All you need to know about the Haval H6 ownership experience. Music.
Cars.co.za, Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.
Joining us today is our local Bosch expert from Bosch Parklands. This is Tyron. Tyron, thank you for your time. Appreciate all your professional insights. Haval H6, what should I look for when I'm test driving this vehicle?
So basically, when we test drive a vehicle, you should listen to shock noises, tire noises. You should listen to wheel bearings and also feel certain vibrations in the steering. If you do get any of those, you go back to the workshop, and then if it's a shock noise, you will identify maybe it's a leaking shock, a worn shock. But also what you'll also look at is maybe a worn tire. That will also indicate you that the shocks is worn. If you have a knocking noise on your suspension, what you look at is maybe a stabilizer link. That will also give you a knocking noise on your suspension. Then you also look at humming noises on tires. Humming noises on tires can be two different things. It can be a wheel bearing that has been gone wrong, or it can be a worn tire. And then also what we look at is your clutch operation, and then also monitor the gearbox if there's any noises. And then also we will attentively listen to your rear end, which we refer to as the rear axle. So that is all things that you'll look at upon a test drive. And then most important, we'll also feel what the steering wheel does, if there's any shakiness in the steering. And most important also, when we do check your brakes, we will feel that if you have a shudder. So when you have shudders coming from the front, you will feel it in your foot. You will have a bouncy pedal. But when you have a shudder coming from the back, you will feel it mostly in the bottom end of your seat. And that is when you determine where your shuddering is coming from.
So far, our test drive is going pretty well. But if you, dear viewer, are a Haval H6 owner, we'd like to hear your comments and feedback about your ownership experience. And Bosch has kindly said that the best comment will get a prize. So in the comments below, if you own a Haval H6, let us know if it's been a good car for you. Right, let's test out the steering and the brakes. We're on a nice section of what enthusiasts would call dynamic road. Tyron, what should I look for as we go around some of these corners?
So what you will look at is the steering ability. When taking a turn, you will look for swervingness. If the vehicle is not swerving from side to side. If it does swerve side to side, obviously then you'll have to look at your steering rack, rack ends, tie rod ends, or maybe a worn ball joint.
Nice. Oh, got a brake for this one. Let's feel the brakes. Yeah, I can feel there's a slight vibration.
Slight vibration.
What's causing that?
So that could be a worn disc that is giving a slight vibration. Also depends on where the vibration is coming from.
And the cool thing about this video series is that after we finish test driving, we're going to put this vehicle on the lift and then we can see exactly what's going on. So a little hesitation and we suspect there's something off with these brakes. We're going to find out what that is. Right, with the test drive done, it's now time for the Haval H6 to tell us all of its secrets. Tyron, how often do you see Haval H6s in your workshop?
So for the past month or two, we've been having 3 to 4 Havals in our workshops. After test driven, we really haven't found any issues with suspension wise. But what we have found is that the rear brakes on the Havals doesn't last that long.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes.
Is that a drum or a disc brake setup?
So there's a disc brake setup, but because of the disc that is fairly thin.
So they're just wearing really quickly?
Yes.
And on the powertrain itself?
So on the powertrain, we don't have really much issues, seeing that it's automatic.
Okay.
We don't have like hesitations where it will shift over to gear and things like that. That is what we haven't really gotten in the workshop as yet. Regarding suspension work, I haven't picked up anything serious besides a stabilizer link that will wear down. That is normal wear and tear. Where regarding engine, we will look at your coolant level, we will look at your brake fluid condition, we will tend to look at leaks, your multi-V belt, your tensioner, your idler gears, and then we will also take a look at your air filter condition, and we'll do a battery check. So once we hook up the battery tester will either tell us, look, battery failure, good recharge. If it tells us good recharge, we'll charge the battery up, then we'll do another test. If it fails the test, and then we'll jump on to replacing the battery.
Interesting, I've noticed that on that ECU, there's a nice big Bosch sticker. How cool is that? I mean, we didn't plan this at all.
So with the Bosch ECU, it makes it more convenient for us because we have a Bosch diagnostic machine. So if we have deeper issues with the control unit, we go into the control unit and then we can find the fault much easier. Say for instance, we get a misfire cylinder 1, right? It will tell us, it will send us directly to cylinder 1. It will either be a spark plug, ignition coil, or it can be an injector.
Interesting. And now when it comes to the fluids, how are we looking on this exact car?
So
I think that looks okay, but I'm not the mechanic. You're the professional, sir.
So sometimes the fluids, it will look okay. But you need to also understand that your antifreeze have a lifespan of 2 years.
So what should an average customer, consumer who's not a specialist like yourself look out for?
So basically, we will advise the customer after every 2 years, look, do a coolant flush. That is basically to save the engine from corrosion and internal damages, yes, because there is a certain component inside the antifreeze which protects the internal components.
Interesting.
And what we also look at is the brake fluid. With the brake fluid also, 2 year lifespan.
Oh wow.
So you can either see it through the reservoir or you open the cap. So what the brake fluid will do, it will either give you like a oily substance or it will give you a color change.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. So would you say that preventative maintenance is absolutely critical? Make sure all the things are topped up. Is this something that consumers can do at home?
Look,
or would you prefer us to come visit you, Tyron?
You can do it at home, but I would prefer to do it at a workshop. Reason being why is, say for instance you got like this one, has a pinkish coolant in. You cannot add a green antifreeze.
Okay.
Because of the additives. So once you mix the additives, then you're going to start having internal damages inside your engine.
Sheesh. And then it's expensive, isn't
it? It's expensive. Then you're looking at replacing an engine.
We don't have that kind of money in this economy.
Yes, we don't.
Right, thanks, Tyron. Time to look at some Bosch parts for this vehicle. Tyron, what exactly have we got here?
So basically what we have here now is we have a Bosch battery, we have our Bosch brake fluid, we have a air filter, this is a cabin filter, brake discs, Bosch starter.
And these are just your generic day-to-day items, consumables for pretty much any car?
For pretty much any car, yes.
Fascinating.
We do also have our Bosch bulbs, and we also have a Bosch oil filter.
Very cool.
So what we will normally do is on a low mileage vehicle, we tend to go through the whole vehicle. We do a bumper to bumper check. Right? So with the bumper to bumper check, we'll check the air filter, we'll check the cabin filter, we'll check the spark plugs. So if on a minor service, I see your air filter can still go to the next service, I won't change it. But if I do see on a minor service that your cabin filter needs to be done due to the AC, I'm going to change it.
Interesting.
Because a cabin filter has got to do with your aircon, and if your cabin filter is not changed regularly, your aircon won't work 100%.
And it's not going to smell nice, is it?
It's not going to smell nice as well, yes. So in a minor service, we'll do a oil change. So it will be an oil, your oil filter, and a rear cabin filter. So with a major service, we're looking at oil filter, air filter, cabin filter. And like I said previously, we'll also look at your brake fluid.
Okay.
So if your brake fluid is discolored, then we'll add a brake flush to the major service. Because you must also know that is also wear and tear. That's also a wear and tear item that does become contaminated.
That's very interesting insights. And on your screen right now, we're going to have the cost of servicing, cost per hour, plus OEM versus Bosch parts. This is critical consumer information. Remember to pause. You can zoom in, screenshot this. It's good reference resource material. All right, Tyron, we're under the Haval H6 all-wheel drive.
Yes.
Take me through this process. What do you look at first?
So generally what we would do is we would look at your shocks, check if there's no leakage on shocks. Right? If we do get any leakage on the shock, then that is a pure indication that the shocks need to be replaced.
Right.
And while we're at it, we will look at rear bushes. If you can see your brake discs, you can see your brake pads. There's also a brake pad wear indicator. And then also you got your stabilizer bar. So that will be your stabilizer links. And then you get your stabilizer bushes. That is something that we'll also look at. So then if you move closer, we look at CV boots if it's not cracked, or we will look at rear seals not leaking. And because there's a rear diff, there's mounting points, so we look at the mounting points if the mounting points is not damaged. And while we're in the same process, we'll also look at the exhaust, if your exhaust is not damaged. Also, as we look at the exhaust, you also need to look at your exhaust hangers. So there's exhaust hangers at the back, one in the middle, and then we have two in the front. So as we come to the front of the vehicle, the main thing that we will look at your lower control arm rear bushes. Because the lower control arm bushes tends to tear when you go over a bumpy road.
Okay.
It will give you a vibration and it will let the car swerve side to side. Most important, upon the lower control arm, you will have your ball joints, your lower ball joints, you will have your tie rod ends. What we look at the rubbers. If the rubbers is not torn or if there's no grease coming out. And then we also look at your link rods. So this link rod is linked to the stabilizer bar there and also to the shock. So what happens in a case like this, if you go over a bumpy road, it will also give you a rattling sound. You will suspect there's a shock mounting on top, but then it's your link rods at
Something
the bottom.
as small as that will make you feel so much through the wheel.
Yes. What we also look at, so we'll look at your outer boots. If we can, we will look at the inner boot and then also look at your lower gearbox mounting.
Wow.
So if your lower gearbox mounting is torn, what will happen is when you accelerate, the engine will tilt forward and backward, and that will give you indication that your lower gearbox mounting is worn. And most important is that we look at overall leaks. So if you don't have any overall leaks, then we are okay. But if you do have leaks, something to be worried about. So this is your sump plug. The reason why there is a coated spray on there is to say that the car has been serviced.
Oh wow.
And that the sump plug has been tightened, and that is why there's a color coating spray on there.
I love learning things about underneath the car. Like I'm never going to spend time here, so I'm grateful for this knowledge.
Yeah. And what we also need to look at your front suspension, we look at your shocks. If there's no oil dripping from the shocks, because if there is oil dripping from the shocks, that is indication that your shocks is finished and you need to do a shock replacement. So upon the test drive, if you don't get like any noises, the physical checks is what we will normally do is we'll put our hand on the shock over there, we'll spin the wheel, and if we don't get any vibration, then we'll know our wheel bearing is fine.
Amazing.
But if we do get a vibration in the shock, then we know that we need to replace the wheel bearing.
Sheesh.
Because sometimes you don't pick it up on the test drive, then you have to do a physical check.
And this is why we've got you, Tyron.
Yeah, so
This is why we've got you.
this is basically what we call a bumper to bumper check, or part of a basic service.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So that the customer is aware of the condition his vehicle is in, and that the car is more safe on the road.
Specifically on the Haval H6, what should potential customers be on the lookout for?
Look, suspension wise is fine. I don't have any issues.
Okay.
Common issues that normally go on the Haval will be a link rod.
Okay.
That is a normal wear and tear. But in this case, she's still fine.
And you mentioned the brakes as well. Should we go look at the brakes?
So what we have found out with the rear brakes on the Haval is because of the disc that has been so thin, the wear and tear of the disc goes more than what the wear and tear of the brake pads will go.
Oh wow.
Because of the diameter of the disc and because it's a solid disc. So there's more wear and tear on there. And what we would advise the customer to do is, when we do a brake pad replacement, you do it brake pads with brake discs so that you have more efficiency over braking.
And I suppose as a customer, if you're carrying a lot of passengers and you often have the boot loaded up, then this problem would be exaggerated. So you
need to be aware of it.
Okay.
You need to be aware of it.
Fantastic.
And in this case, as we can see, our brake disc is worn.
Yeah, it's on its way out.
But the brake pads are still okay.
Nice one. Cool. And you've reached the end of the video. I hope you've learnt a lot about the Haval H6. I certainly have. And in the words of Tyron the Professional, Haval H6, should people buy it as a used option?
I would say yes. It is a good vehicle. Suspension-wise, engine-wise, I don't have any issues. Look, whatever you put into the vehicle is going to take care of you.
And there you have it, the voice of Tyron the Professional. Tyron, thank you so much for your time. And
pleasure.
Thank you to your team at Bosch Parklands. Really cool bunch of guys. And if you want to get your car serviced at Bosch, well, there's 120 branches just as cool as this one in Parklands. And if you want to buy a Haval like this one, a H6, or you want to buy a Jolion or the bigger H9, we have all of those in stock. Right now, there are over 1,500 Havals for sale on Cars.co.za. We'll see you at the next one. Okay, bye.
Let's find what moves you. Cars.co.za. Hello, now I have been asked to tell you about Cars.co.za because I work here. Now on the site right now, you will find 72,000 cars to choose from, which is quite a lot. And yes, most of them are used cars. However, a significant number, many of them, an exact number of which I don't know and head office didn't tell me, but a lot of them are brand new cars and demos. So whether you are looking for a used car, a new car, or a demo, you'll find what you're looking for on Cars.co.za. Check out our mobile site, our desktop site, and our fantastic free app in whichever app store you use.